You've spent 30 or 40 years doing one thing, saving money. Every paycheck, every year, not spending it, saving it. And you did that because you were told the same thing everyone else was told. Save enough and you'll never run out of money in retirement. Here's what nobody told you. Most retirees who follow that advice, who save diligently, who retire on time, who do everything right, they never run out of money. But not because the plan worked, because they never actually spend it. According to a study published in the Journal of Financial Planning, the majority of retirees die with roughly the same amount of wealth they had on the day they retired. And here's the part that should stop you cold. Only 11% of retirees describe themselves as having a true spending mindset in retirement. 30 or 40 years of saving, and most people can't bring themselves to use it. Today, I want to show you why that happens, what it's costing you, not in dollars, but in life, and what you can do starting this week to make sure your money actually works for you while you still have the health and energy to enjoy it. Here's the thing. This isn't a discipline problem. It's not a math problem. It's a psychology problem. And if you don't understand the psychology behind it, no spreadsheet or financial plan in the world will fix it. Think about this for a moment. Imagine you've spent 35 years putting money into a savings account. Every month, that balance goes up. That feels good. It signals safety. It signals security. It signals that you're doing the right thing. Now imagine retirement starts, and suddenly you're supposed to reverse that. You're supposed to watch that number go down every month on purpose. For most people, that feels terrifying, even when they have more than enough. Researchers have a name for this. They call it the psychological shift from saving mode to spending mode, and it doesn't happen automatically just because you retire. For many people, it never happens at all. A full 38% of retirees in a recent survey said they actively hold back their spending because they're afraid of unforeseen costs, not because they're running short, because of fear. You've earned this money, you've worked hard for it, and you deserve to actually use it. So in the next few minutes, here's what we're going to cover. Number 1, the math surprise, what actually happens to your portfolio in the first 10 years of retirement, and it's not what most people expect. Number 2, the problem with the 4% rule and why following it might actually be keeping your money locked away. Number 3, the retirement spending smile and the narrow window you may not realize is already closing. Number 4, specific action steps you can take to give yourself permission to actually enjoy in retirement. Let's start with number 1, the math surprise. Most retirees picture their savings as a bucket slowly draining. Every year, a little less water, until one day it runs dry. That's the image that keeps people awake at night. And it's also not how it actually works. Let me show you the real math. Imagine you retire at 62 with $1 million in your portfolio. You're following a reasonable plan, withdrawing $61,000 per year to cover your living expenses. Your portfolio is invested and earning an average of 8% per year. Inflation is running about 3%. Now here's the question. In year 1, what do you think happens to your portfolio balance? Most people assume it goes down. It doesn't. In year 1, your $1 million earns roughly $80,000 in investment growth. You withdraw $61,000. You end the year with more than you started with, approximately $1,019,000. This continues year after year. Even with annual withdrawals, your portfolio actually grows for the first 10 years of retirement, before it peaks, typically reaching somewhere between $1.2 and $1.4 million, before it begins to gradually decline. Stay with me on this because this changes everything. If your portfolio is growing for the first 10 years of retirement, what does that mean? It means the money you're protecting for your future self is compounding into even more money, money you may never actually need. This is not an argument to be reckless, but it is a reason to understand what's actually happening inside your financial plan, instead of reacting to a fear that the numbers don't support. Number 2, the 4% rule. You've probably heard of the 4% rule. If you haven't, here's a quick explanation. The 4% rule was developed in the 1990s by financial planner Bill Bengen. His research showed that if a retiree withdraws 4% of their portfolio each year, adjusted for inflation, their money would last at least 30 years, even through market crashes and downturns. It became the gold standard of retirement planning, and it's a solid foundation. But here's the problem most people don't talk about. The 4% rule was designed to survive the worst market conditions in history, including the Great Depression and the 1970s stagflation crisis. It's built for pessimism. It's built to make sure you never run out. The result? In average and above-average market conditions, which is most of the time, retirees following the 4% rule don't just not run out of money, they end up with more money than they started with. According to research from Morningstar and Vanguard, in the majority of 30-year retirement periods since 1926, retirees following the 4% rule ended up with 2 to 3 times their starting portfolio value. Think about that. You followed the safe plan your entire retirement, and you died leaving behind twice what you had when you started. Now, for estate planning purposes, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you want to leave a large inheritance, that's a beautiful goal. But if your goal is to live well, to travel while your knees work, to help your kids or grandkids while you're alive to see it, to do the things you always told yourself you'd do someday, then the 4% rule isn't a spending target, it's a floor. And there's a big difference between the floor and the ceiling. Number 3, the retirement spending smile. And once you see it, the way you think about your retirement years will never be the same. Researchers who study how retirees actually spend their money over time have found a consistent pattern. It looks like a smile. Here's how it works. In your go-go years, roughly ages 60 to 72, spending is highest. You're healthy, you have energy, you want to travel, visit family, try new things, check off the bucket list. This is the peak of your retirement life. Here's what the research tells us. Real retirement spending declines by about 1% per year, year after year, once you're past the go-go phase. J.P. Morgan's retirement research team has tracked thousands of retirees and confirmed this pattern across income levels and account sizes. The spending smile is real, and the peak is early. Now here's the part that should give you some urgency. If you're 62, 65, or 68 right now, you are in the go-go years, right now. This is not a future window, it is an open window. And like all windows, it will close. The retirees who look back with regret are rarely the ones who spent a little too freely in their 60s. They're the ones who waited too long, held back too much, and found themselves in their late 70s with full accounts and diminished desire to use them. Your two finite resources are money and time. You can always, in some form, make more money. You cannot make more time. Number 4, the RMD trap. Here's one more piece of this picture that catches a lot of retirees completely off guard. If you have a traditional IRA or 401k, the IRS requires you to start taking withdrawals, called Required Minimum Distributions, or RMDs, once you reach age 73. That's the law. You don't get to leave the money sitting there forever. Now here's the problem. If you've been in savings mode your entire life and you haven't been spending down your accounts voluntarily, those accounts have been growing. By age 73, many retirees are looking at portfolios worth $800,000, $1.2 million or more. The IRS then forces a withdrawal based on a formula tied to your age and account balance. Let's say your RMD is $40,000 this year. But you don't need $40,000. Your Social Security and pension cover your basic expenses. So what happens? The $40,000 comes out of your IRA, triggering ordinary income taxes, and then just sits in a regular taxable brokerage account. You've paid the tax, but you haven't improved your life one bit. This is the RMD trap. The government forces a transfer you didn't want. You pay taxes on money you didn't need, and your lifestyle doesn't change at all. The solution isn't to panic, but it is a reason to consider, especially between ages 60 and 72, before RMDs kick in, whether a more deliberate spending plan or a Roth conversion strategy might serve you better. That's a conversation worth having with a qualified financial advisor. The point is this: the money is going to come out one way or another. The only question is whether it comes out on your terms, funding your life, or on the IRS's terms, funding a tax bill. Here's the thing. If you're watching this and you recognize yourself in any of this, you are not alone, and it's not your fault. Nobody teaches this. Your HR department won't tell you. The financial industry largely profits from assets under management, meaning there's actually a financial incentive for some advisors to keep your money invested and growing rather than spending it down. You've done the hard part. Now, let's make sure you actually get to enjoy it. After watching this video, here are 4 specific things I want you to do. These are real steps, not abstract advice. Step 1. Run a real retirement projection. Not a guess, not a rule of thumb. Sit down, ideally with a fee-only financial advisor, and model out what your actual portfolio will look like at age 75, 80, and 85 at your current spending level. Most people are shocked at how much is left over. Seeing the real numbers gives you permission to breathe. Step 2. Understand what phase you're in. If you're between 60 and 72, you are in the go-go years. Write that down. Put it somewhere you'll see it, because the energy and health you have right now is not permanent, and the research is clear that spending desire declines with age, not with account balance. Step 3. Build a bump-up rule. One simple approach: when your portfolio is up 15% or more from where it started, give yourself permission to increase your annual spending by 10% for that year. No guilt, no justification needed. You planned for growth. This is that growth working for you. Step 4. Separate fear money from life money. Many retirees keep far more in cash and conservative accounts than they need because it feels safe. If you have 12 to 24 months of living expenses in a stable, liquid account, that's your safety net. Everything above that is there to work for you. Treating your entire portfolio like an emergency fund is costing you years of compounding and years of living. Before you go, I want to hear from you directly. Are you in the go-go years right now? And honestly, do you feel like you have permission to actually spend your money, or does it still feel wrong? Drop your answer in the comments below. Some of the best conversations on this channel happen down there. If this video gave you something to think about, and I hope it did, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to go deeper on why retiring early can be the best decision of your life, that video is right here. It's one of the most important planning moves most retirees never take advantage of.